Welcome to Monsterman.
Boo! Boo! Can't stop.
It's like a diarrhea arg.
I've been very backed up.
Oh.
You know what happens? You take too much Imodium, and it goes the other way. So
We need that Pepto up.
sometimes you just gotta let it flow. Just let it flow, get a little weak, and then move on.
Okay.
It's all about your colon in this episode. How clean's your colon? No, it's not.
It's not. But it could be about something else that's full of crap.
Oh, we didn't even plan that. That was perfect. Good job.
What are we talking about today, Hunter?
We are talking about the legacy, continuing, of Ed and Lorraine Warren. Because they've become super duper famous thanks to The Conjuring.
Where they're superheroes.
The Conjuring 2, Annabelle, soon to be Annabelle 2, and everything else.
Is there anything they have like the Warren's universe now?
You know, when I think Ghost Hunter, I think Hans Holzer.
Who's that?
He was the original kind of modern day ghost hunter. He kind of wrote the manual on how to do ghost hunting. His daughter Alexandra Holzer, she provided a blurb for me on one of my first books.
Oh, so Hans is not.
Hans is now a ghost,
But he would have been like active like in the 60s and 70s?
oh yeah, even before then. So I'm sure that Ed and Lorraine kind of picked a little bit from what Hans was doing. But
What about Hans Gruber? Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho.
I'm just going to laugh at this entire
My name is Clay.
Well, Ed and Lorraine were unique in the fact that Lorraine was kind of a sensitive, and I don't know if it's necessarily if she was psychic, but she was sensitive. And
Yeah, she claimed to have some sort of.
it wasn't like a Madame Blavatsky kind of thing going on.
It wasn't Jean Grey.
Exactly, but she would kind of know. She'd have a spidey sense. And Ed was a demonologist.
And an exorcist.
And an exorcist. Because there was no place or person they couldn't feel justified in exorcism. Lorraine she was on Paranormal State. Remember, she was on that show a lot. She helped Brian Buell out. She was a big influence on him.
Didn't he get in trouble?
There was some issues going on there. I know the last time I heard he had like colon cancer or pancreatic cancer or something. I don't know. But Paranormal State, Katrina Weidman is now with Nick Groff. They've got their show. And there was the one guy, he's got a traveling show where they're unveiling this...
You know all the Ghost Hunter names.
I know.
I'm very impressed with this.
This is so sad. But they're unveiling this ghost in Australia that they've actually caught a full apparition appearing on film. We're actually, Samantha and I are going to go see it up in Connecticut.
What? When?
Yeah, well, after this, we're going to get tickets together.
Yes.
Yeah, it'll be fun. So the reason why we want to talk about Ed and Lorraine Warren is because they're a big deal.
And they're right here in Connecticut.
They're in Connecticut. Ed has been gone for now 11 years, which I thought was longer. But Jack and I also have personal experience with them. And we know somebody who was working with them. So we would kind of want to go through the good and the bad and the ugly of Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Well, especially because when you see these Conjuring movies, clearly they're cinematic, so they're over the top. So they're taking the source material and then making it into a completely different story and exaggerating things and all that.
Just a little bit. And look, that's not Lorraine's fault or problem. She sells them the idea and they do whatever they want with it, which is, I will do this, Hollywood, buy anything you want, and you can do whatever.
Yeah, and I don't blame them for it, but it's funny because when you know the people that it's based on, you're like Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson don't look anything like the Warrens. They don't sound anything like the Warrens.
No, I even said when I used to go to their sessions that they would have at this haunted inn. Did you remember? Is it the Carriage Inn or the Carousel Inn? I think it's Carousel.
I never went to that.
Oh, we used to go to those. We would drink a lot and then go and sit and watch.
There's supposedly a ghost in that place.
Yeah, well, you could go and look for the ghosts and take pictures and stuff.
A selfie with the ghost.
We tried. We got a lot of orbs, which was dust. Ed was, and I described this to Jason Brent, he's like a potato. He was not a smooth talker at all. I thought
he's like a he was like a crabby old guy from the Bronx.
Yeah, he was like a longshoreman, almost like an old longshoreman. And
he reminded me like somebody like who was like at the highway department. It'd be like the guys who go out in the trucks. He'd be like the guy who worked the desk when you got back. I'm like, hey, Ed, we need the weed whackers. You gotta sign them out.
How many did you collect today? And Lorraine is the ultimate spinster librarian.
She looks like Mr. Glass. Like if you...
I know, she's so tiny and frail. Vera Farmiga.
Smoking.
I know they try to unglamorize her in the movies, but you can't. Those eyes are perfect. She has some of the best eyes in the biz. But Ed and Lorraine Warren, they are famous for several cases, including the Amityville Horror, which they came on and investigated, the Smurls in Pennsylvania.
Which I never knew about. I want to hear about this.
Yeah, but it's just one of those cases where it's a haunted house in Pennsylvania that just had everything going on. Weird smells, people being attacked, things moving around. There's telekinesis involved in here. Of course it was demonic, because if you're a demonologist, what are you going to find? Demons. So,
because if you have a hammer, the answer to this problem is a nail.
Yeah. They're also famous for the Perron family, which
Vita.
Don't cry for me, Argentina.
Or is that the...
supposed to be immortal.
That's all I ask for. That's was that The Conjuring?
That's The Conjuring. That would be The Conjuring. The Conjuring 2, which is the Enfield poltergeist, which in reality they did not have that much to do with. In fact, I think they kind of came in on the tail end of that and probably walked out. One that you and I investigated was the White Lady of the Union Cemetery.
They basically made the Union Cemetery the most haunted place in Connecticut. It just happened to be right near where they live.
Yeah, that's
and
perfect.
other people have claimed to see this White Lady. We've been there. It's our most popular episode.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I kind of found out about them.
We may have caught an EVP. It was funny. The best part was it was Jack doing the EVP who said, "I don't want to do this. I feel like an idiot." And then I didn't hear anything, but I'm partially deaf, and my daughter heard it right away.
Yeah, that was funny. So we went there. He's doing EVPs, and then he hands me the thing. He's like, "You do it." I'm like, "I don't really want to do this." I asked him questions, and then I'm at my sister's house, who lives near this cemetery. So he like texts me or something. He's like, "My daughter may have found an EVP, and she's answering your question." So then I go to my car, and it's like autumn.
Right.
It's dark and windy, and I go to my car, and I'm like 2 miles from the cemetery right now. I wonder if the ghost knows that I'm here.
Little Jack's here.
Am I going to turn on the headlights of my car, and is there going to be a woman standing in front of it?
That would be awesome.
I drove by the exit that we got off of, and I'm like,
right.
kind of looking around, like, come back, Jack.
I would like to ask Lorraine, does she ever see Ed? Has Ed gone to the light, or is Ed hanging around the museum?
He's stuck in a box with Annabelle.
Or is he in the cage with the chicken in the kitchen?
And how sanitary is that?
Not.
What's more dangerous, demonic dolls in your basement or chickens contaminating your kitchen?
I would never eat a thing in Lorraine's
What we're
house.
talking about is there's interviews with Lorraine where people are talking to her, and she has live chickens in her kitchen.
In the kitchen.
There's something foul in this house. No, FOWL.
Now, I said I used to go to their sessions at the Carriage Inn. This is before all the big hubbub. Ghost hunting wasn't a thing that you really did. And I was working close to the Connecticut border, and somebody told us, "Oh, you got to see this Warren people. They're really fun, and they'll tell you a case, and then you can investigate the place." So my friends and I would go. We'd have drinks. So I will never forget. We're there, and they were talking about investigating a doppelganger that was harassing this French-Canadian farming family. And the doppelganger had lifted a tractor over its head and done all kinds of crazy crap. And of course, they were going to exorcise the guy who the doppelganger was, if I remember correctly. This whole thing made me write that book, Sinister Entity.
Wow.
Made me think I remember doppelgangers because of them. And Ed is explaining, the doppelganger was he was tossing stuff around.
Doppelganger, whoa.
He had such a way with speaking. And he had a heart attack, and it was one of many heart attacks that he would have. And my friend raised his hand when he was done and said, Ed, does there ever come a time when you've seen this enough where you don't have a heart attack at the sight of something paranormal? Oh, you could feel the tension in the room.
The demonologist school sort of just gloss over the importance of cardio.
I am supposed to run at least a mile a day.
Just walk, man. Get the steps in.
So, and then after that was done, we got to go walk through the carousel. And the cameras we had film in it. So there were no digital cameras. And I remember people would come with their pictures from previous things. And they would show orbs. Like everywhere orbs. And my friend would just go, dust. And they go, dust. It was just such a pain in everyone's ass.
It's dust or moisture.
But they would like get really mad. Like, no, that's a spirit. He's like,
I did a ghost tour in New Haven once, and I took a picture of a graveyard, and then I took one with the flash.
Right.
And the one with no flash, there's nothing. And then the one with the flash, this woman's like, oh, you got orbs. And I'm like, no, it's winter time, and that's moisture.
It's moisture, exactly. You're illuminating inside. You're illuminating dust. Outside, you're illuminating.
Why does a ghost need the flash to show up?
That's very true.
You know where I learned the term doppelganger from?
What?
Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh my God.
It's a monster manual. The doppelganger was. I call it a doppelganger when I first.
Doppelganger. I used to. In college, they played Dungeons and Dragons, but I wouldn't play. I would just sit and drink and make commentary about what assholes they were. So these games would go from 9 in the morning.
I didn't still play when I was in college.
Oh yeah, these guys are doing it. I would do commentary from 9 p.m. to like 6 a.m. until they were finally they'd just say, all right, enough. Get out of here.
Yeah, no, I was like junior high school when I was doing that.
So what's your Ed and Lorraine Warren interaction?
I had learned of a haunted town in Connecticut called Dudleytown, which is like this cursed village.
Is that from Little Different Strokes? Is that Arnold's right? It's all these little boys have been raped by Gordon Jump.
Yeah, the bicycle shop owner. You can watch that on YouTube.
Oh, Dudley? Oh my God.
A
very special Different Strokes.
Anyway, so I had heard about this place, Dudleytown. Me and my friend Tom, before the internet, went to the library, looked it up, drove to Upper Connecticut, hiked into the woods, found it, didn't tell anybody what we were doing, and got lost for a while.
Good.
When we saw the Blair Witch Project, I called them up. I go, dude, they made a movie about our trip to Dudleytown.
Except we found our way out.
So I'm at lunch one day, and I'm reading this like Connecticut local paper thing, and they're like, the Warrens, ghost hunters, blah, 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 and amongst the topics they're talking about is Dudleytown. So I'm like, oh my God, I gotta go to this.
Right.
So the night of the thing, me and 3 of my buddies go. And I've told the story before. We went out and preloaded a little bit.
Everything starts with preloading.
They do their seminar. They played some audio tapes. They showed some photos.
Did they do it at Dudleytown?
No, this was at a Holiday Inn in Stamford, Connecticut.
Okay.
They played like audio from an exorcism or something, and they showed some stills. They kept talking about the white lady, but they didn't show. They said they had a video, but they weren't showing it. And we're like, what the hell? We paid to see this. And
yeah, we should preface that. You had to pay to go see them.
yeah.
It wasn't free.
So at the end, we went up and talked to them, and Lorraine was saying how she could read auras.
Mm-hmm.
So my friend Ray goes, all right, so what color's my aura? And she's like, no, I have to do a reading, and it takes time and stuff like that. And like, he just totally interrupts her, like, you're full of crap. And he
Oh my God.
walks away. I was like dying. Because it was, we went to this, it was kind of interesting. They talked a little bit about Dudleytown, nothing I didn't know. But that's where I learned about the White Lady. So me and one of the guys who went with us drove up there one day, and if you watch our episode, I'll tell the story. But we explored during the day that cemetery, took some photos, and we got something weird on one of the windows that it was my friend's roll of film. Again, we had to go take it and get it developed.
Back in
And
the old days.
well, if you look at the picture, you could claim that it's just the way the light hit in the window. But the funny thing is that particular picture, like it looks like there's a face in the window.
Pareidolia. Right? That's what.
Is that the word?
Anytime you see a face and even a cloud or whatever, it's pareidolia.
But like in the pack of photos, if you give this somebody, they go through it, they'll find that. Everybody finds that particular window, and when I sifted through and got to that window, he's like out of his skull. Like, are you kidding me? So when I saw the Conjuring, I'm just like laughing because I'm like, this is like, yeah, I went to one of their seminars and I was like, kind of let down by it. I was like, yeah, they said they were going to show all this stuff, and then they played like a video or an audio.
Yeah, they would tease you. Because they'd always say that they had all this proof, but then you would only get like a kernel of it, and not what you wanted. And
this video they're supposed to have of the White Lady, that you can only see if you go to one of their. I thought the carriage house was, or whatever the place is called, the carousel house, was where they showed the White Lady video. Because I know somebody who's seen it.
See, the times I went, they would always play tapes, like audio tapes.
Yeah, to me, I'm like,
and it was always like they went,
yeah, we couldn't fake that.
Yeah, I know. Nobody can make that sound.
My Halloween record.
Sounds like Bobcat Goldthwait pushing out a dude.
Now, we had a friend who worked for the Warrens.
Yeah, that was
he told me some stories, and he said, I don't know, 90% is probably carny. You could dismiss it. Another 10%, 80%, let's say that. Another 10% is kind of weird. And then another 10% is genuinely, what the hell was that? And he would take photos for them. So he said, I saw a screwdriver fly across the room. I saw sparks coming out of the ceiling. And the most interesting one is he shot a interview of, what's his name? The husband. Ed. And
Ed Norton.
So if Ed's over there, Annabelle's behind him in the box.
Who was a Raggedy Ann doll.
Raggedy Ann doll. So his friend is interviewing him, and he's filming it. So he looks at Annabelle, and she's sitting there. He films the video, and then when he looks back at her, she's this way now.
Are you kidding me?
Said she moved. So I said, what'd you think? Because that kind of freaked me out a little bit. I said, did you think that maybe Lorraine was on the other side with a stick and moved it? He goes, that thought also occurred to me.
Right, yeah.
So
that's wild, though.
He said that the doll did move.
What do you think of the Annabelle doll in the movies? I think it's so over the top. Like, it's a doll that's so freaking ugly. What kid would even want to go? That would give a kid nightmares, so it wouldn't even exist.
Yeah, the actual Raggedy Ann doll is like scarier to me.
Right, because it's the mundane stuff that's scary to you. Like, if my shoe was possessed, it's going to scare me more than a
monster shoe. Well, it's like the tickle me elbow that like comes to life. That thing's scary.
There's a man inside me who loves children.
Come take a picture with me in Times Square. I'm going to rub up against you. So, I don't know. So the number one thing, though, that makes me skeptical of them is the Amityville Horror.
Yeah.
Because that, is clearly been debunked as a hoax.
Unless you talk to the one son who did that documentary where he claims that a lot more went on than what they say. But that whole family is so messed up. I was just there.
Oh, I saw that. I drove by that house, too.
I mean, I was there. I took some pictures, whatever. It's a beautiful house. It's smaller than I thought. They changed the windows. The house itself is small. It's on the water.
And every day, people drive by that house and take pictures.
Yeah. Oh, God. They even have little signs about this is private property, don't trespass here. The house next door was for sale, which I would love to buy.
That's the house to buy.
Yeah, I can't afford it because it's waterfront property in Long Island. Jesus Christ, I can't imagine what the taxes are alone. But yeah, there's been so much back and forth about it. It just seems like it was all crap, all of it. Most of the family recanted their stories after a while. So it went down to the dad. Mom and dad are gone.
If you talk to the news crew, there's like a famous
Channel 5
did it. Yeah.
Like
they're all, this is all on YouTube. Like they're like, yeah, nothing happened there.
Yeah. Look, Ed and Lorraine were very invested in the paranormal. And if you look into enough places, you pull up enough rocks, you're going to find something eventually. I think because they had to make a living out of it, they had to blow up certain things that maybe were minor or maybe nothing at all. Because I've seen and done enough things where I could take something that I saw and make it huge. But most times, rationally, like, maybe that was just some weird flicker out of the corner of my eye.
Like an EVP that you might have taken at
Possibly. But that's the thing. It just depends. It's the sensory input that you get and what do you do with it. And more times than most, you just go, it's a cute anecdote, it's a story to tell.
They're entertaining, and you know what's funny is that museum of theirs.
We have to go to the museum.
We do, because if you see, there's videos of it on YouTube. There's a bunch of like Halloween props and stuff in there. And
it's so weird. And John Zaffis, their nephew, has his museum, The Haunted Collector.
That guy's got the smartest thing in the world. Go there. This is the thing causing your haunting. I'm going to take it and put it in my museum.
Yeah. I think your diamond ring is haunted. I'll take it from you and surround it in salt and prayers, and then you'll be fine.
This Ming Dynasty vase. Haunted.
Obviously haunted.
Do you have any gold that you want to sell? Haunted. Give it to me.
Those panties you wore. Haunted.
That top's got to go. Haunted. I, being the haunted collector, so I take that.
I think it would be cool if we went there together. It would be awesome if we could film it, but you can't.
I know. We should, we got to put that on the to-do list.
If you all want us to go there and actually report back what we saw, show your support by going onto YouTube and liking ours and sharing it and commenting. Because if you want us to go there, we will.
Or if you know other haunted places in the New York, Connecticut, New Jersey, tri-state area, we'll go.
Yeah.
As long as you don't get arrested for going there, we'll go.
If you have a haunted house that you live in or know of and we can get in there,
that'd be
we'll go. And we will not bring a whole lot of equipment, nor will we be necessarily sober. And we will do
our equipment will be our phones and a six-pack of beer.
If I see something, I'll be like, chick! Chick! Oh, chick!
Let's get this straight.
Yes.
If anything actually paranormal happens, we will be the hell out of there faster than... There's no exorcisms
will
going
be
on.
powered by the power of colon blow. Out the door. I might linger a little longer, only because I'm used to it.
Well, the first reaction would be like, what the hell is that? Do you see that? Oh my god, like if it's two of us, it's going to be different.
Right.
You're like, what the? But if it's like one of us in a room, the other is going to be running out. Ah!
Yeah.
Here, look! Like, once there's two of us together, then it's like, okay, look, there's a guy in the corner.
And that's the beauty of twos.
Yeah.
Because there's some kind of grounding and rationalization that goes on with it, so maybe we'll do that. So, my question is, what do you think of Ed and Lorraine Warren? Are you all in? Yes, all in fakers? Or do you not care at all? I mean, you may not care. But we just wanted to bring this up and start a conversation.
Yeah, I don't know what you think.
I'm waiting for the choke on a peanut again. Have some
I got
more.
no choking left.
Are you all done? You sure? Deep throat, Mr. Peanut. We haven't been together for a long time. Wait.
That was IP, the monocle coming out.
Since I brought this up, have you ever heard of sleep paralysis?
Yes.
Have you ever experienced it?
I think I have.
I have one instance that I recall. I was very sick, and my girlfriend, who's now my wife, stayed. Everyone left on vacation. I was alone. I had like 103 fever, and I wake up and I see my room is bathed in green light, and these black beings come through the window and start surrounding my bed, and I can't move and I can't speak. And then Mr. Peanut came out of nowhere and leaned down at me and lifted up his top hat. And then it broke and I started screaming.
Did you grab your nuts? No, your nuts.
He touched my cashew. That's my only sleep paralysis story that I have. It was terrifying. It sounds stupid now, but I was terrified at the time.
Yeah, I had something once where I was at a friend's house, and it felt like something was pushing me down.
The old hag syndrome.
And I couldn't, and I felt it, and for some reason, I stayed calm, but I was like, holy crap, it feels like somebody is pushing me down. But for some reason, I didn't panic or something. I should have.
Right.
But I stayed calm, and I went back to sleep. It was like I was trying to ignore it.
Right.
And then I remember when I had gone to bed, I had left the bathroom door closed, and when I woke up, I remember the bathroom door was open. And I made a comment to my friend who owned the house, and he goes, "Oh yeah, that couldn't have been the air conditioner or anything like that." But in the back of my head, I'm like, I had that.
Wait, this was at your friend's house?
Yeah.
Oh, that wasn't sleep paralysis. I know the friend he's talking about. You were in a portal.
Yeah, could have been.
That was dangerous.
So anyway,
Ed and Lorraine,
let us know.
Please share, like, love, but let us know if we should go to the museum and share stuff.
I hope you can still get in.
Well, Lorraine's 90 years old, but I'm sure she's still.
I think it's like by appointment or something. We gotta figure that out.
I'll make an appointment.
All right.
She doesn't watch this episode.
Right. That's it. We're screwed.
Okay, everybody.
All right. See you next time.
Monster Men.